A cold and painful night in more ways than one in Long Island, New York on Saturday night for Coastal Carolina. Good Sunday. This is the David Bennett Show. I'm Rich Krampanis. Just getting off the field. Coach, no excuses in football, no excuses in life. But, boy, the weather conditions were absolute brutal, among the worst that I've ever been a part of in my 20 years of broadcasting.
Yeah, I was real proud of our guys on the first drive, Rich. We took the ball, went all the way down the field, into the wind, into the rain, and had it down there a chance to score, and we don't get it on third down, so we go for a field goal. We miss it. Then they have the win. They won the toss deferred. So it was not very good, Rich. But I'll tell you what, we set them up with special teams for 4 of those scores on three times with our punt team. 2, we set them up deep, 1 for a touchdown, 1 time on the 1-yard line. 1 time they block it. Then 1 time they squib kick to us. We fumble it to them. We didn't get anything going offensively after that first series, and it was 14-0 at half, and we set them up for 7 of those. I thought we had a chance. We had so many kids shivering at halftime. We just didn't get it done, Rich. And this will be a huge week for us, a huge week for our football team to see who we can count on and see what we have inside.
It was cold and brutal. Let's look at the highlights from Saturday night between the Chanticleers and Stony Brook. Coach, I don't know if television gives justice to how cold and brutal it was from the very beginning of the game till the very end.
Yeah, we told our kids it was going to be possible chance of snow and rain and wind and cold, and it was everything. But Stony Brook did a good job in it. We're going to be a great team. We've got to learn to play in it as well.
Great opening drive, though. It gets started with 3 consecutive runs by Travis Small. Coach, these 3 runs result in 21 yards, and, boy, you're off to a good start.
Yep. Doing the things that we need to do, Rich. Just into the wind, into the teeth of it, into the wind, into the rain, and a very good first drive.
So Travis Small with a 9-yard run here, and then it's time for Marcus Whitener to step up. On 2nd and 1, Coach, Whitener picking up 11 yards.
He did a good job. He reversed field right there, Rich. Made a great run. We just got to have more of that. You can't have one good drive in a game. You need several of them.
So Whitener has 4 consecutive carries. This one for 9 yards. Coach, you turn back to Travis Small. This is a 16-play, 64-yard drive, Coach.
16 plays, man. That's what you want. That's exactly what we want. And we stalled a little bit here. We had a misread. Aramis had a misread. And so we have to try for the field goal.
And Grant Clayton from 34 yards had the distance, but it was wide left, Coach. And, boy, that drive right there was your best drive of the game.
It was. Wind was coming hard from our right to our left, and Grant's got to get that kick over there toward the right upright, and we didn't do it.
Coach, on defense, early on, a nice stop here by Desmond Stewart, and you pinned Stony Brook back at their own 10-yard line.
Again, we had some good things, but they just hit some big plays on us, Rich. And, Desmond, he's a senior, and I think he'll be a leader for us this coming week.
But Miguel Maisonet started his day. Boy, he is one of the best in the Big South.
Yep, he's nominated for All-American, and they got a big old offensive line, and he just grounded out.
After a 26-yard run, this is Maisonet from 9 yards out. It's 7-0 Stony Brook, so they answer after that first drive with theirs, and pretty impressive.
They did. A good drive for them, and they did a great job or with the win. They had to win, and that's what they did. When they won the toss and deferred, they wanted to kick with the win.
And, Coach, here, a tough break special teams. In the replay here, you clearly see really should have been a safety call here as Austin Kane falls in the end zone.
I thought it was from the sideline, and all we can do is send that in. But again, we set them up. We serve one on the platter for them there, Rich.
So instead of 9-0 Stony Brook, Seawolves get it on the 1-yard line. Maisonet takes care of business there. It's now 14-0, and then Coach, another turnover on the punt there with Niccolo fumbling one, and you're really behind the 8 ball.
I forgot about that one, Rich. So we set them up for 5 of them with our special teams play. Got a lot of work to do there. That's all I can say.
But give credit to your defense as Stony Brook trying to cash in on that turnover. Great play here by Andre Jacobs with a nice tackle for a loss.
Yep. Glad to see Andre coming back. And if he can play in this weather here, he can play in any weather.
And in tough conditions, here's Stony Brook trying a field goal, and they have trouble with the snap. And, hey, defense gets the job done, no points on the board.
Yep. We've got to answer with a drive and some points, Rich, and we didn't do it.
So you're down 14-0 here. Nice little end around to Adrian Sullivan. You got to try and figure out different ways to run the football.
Yeah, Coach Brown was kind of banging his head on the desk up there trying to find ways to move the ball. And if you'll notice, it was tough for either team to throw the ball in these conditions, Rick.
And here it is, Coach, your longest pass play of the entire game for both sides, Jamal Boswell for 5 yards. That's it.
That's it. I mean, so you had to have a strong ground attack, and ours isn't quite strong enough, and theirs is outstanding. So, again, you got to give a lot of credit to Stony Brook.
Coach, field position was a big part of this game, and here midway through the second quarter, you've got Stony Brook pinned, and it's going to set up a chance for you to get some great field position. You get the ball at the 30. Yep,
but, Rich, we got to do something with it. Their defense turned it up a notch. We didn't. And you got to find a way to score points. We will not win many football games scoring 0 points.
Coach, this is the closest you come to scoring. It's on a 4th and 7 at the 27. Aramis Hillary throws a perfect ball. Chris Floyd just can't hang on to it in the end zone.
Yep, lay it up and just taking a chance right there to get a score. Needed one, Rich. We needed one so bad to get us going.
And at the half, you're down 14-0.
Yep. Going there to regroup. Our guys are shivering like crazy. A lot of them, and we just said, guys, got to move around. You got to move around. It is cold. It is a big wind chill out there, but you got to keep moving around.
Well, Coach, in the second half, when Masonette gets this 26-yard touchdown on 3rd and 25, really kind of broke your back, and that's when the avalanche came.
Yep. A great job by Stony Brook, and again, Rich, I just special teams wise, we've got so much work to do because we had 5 miscues on special teams, and I believe they scored on every one.
And from there, Coach, there's not much else to say. You were not able to move the football much at all, and Stony Brook simply poured it on.
No, and when it got turned to the fourth quarter, we knew we had to take the win in the third quarter, trying to get into the game, get a score, and get it going. We didn't. And they scored into the win, and then when it turned and they had to win in the rain behind them, we were in trouble there, Rich.
42-0 your final in Stony Brook, New York. Coach, another disappointing defeat with this along with Liberty, your two big rivals in the conference, and they were gunning for you, and they got the best of you, both Liberty and Stony Brook on Saturday night.
Yeah, the odd number year when we go to both those places is going to be tough. We didn't answer the bell. Even though the weather was rough. You got to be ready when the bell rings.
Coach, you've been involved in a lot of games as far as weather goes. Was this one of the most brutal?
Yeah, but, it fit their game, not ours. We like to run it and throw it. And so, again, I can't reiterate enough how this will be a huge week for us this coming week.
What's the test for your staff to keep things positive? 3-game losing streak, and there's still 3 games to go in this season.
Yep. It's going to be one play at a time, one game at a time, and nobody can turn their back on one another. And this is the time more than ever where we've got to lift each other up.
Chanticleers will try and close ranks and get things going again next week after a tough loss to Stony Brook. Time for us to take a break. When we come back, we'll head back to Long Island, New York for post-game reaction. You're watching the David Bennett Show presented by HTC.
Waste Management presents Where Are They Now? A look back at former Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Antoine Trice was an original Chanticleer. He played from 2003 through 2005. The 6'6", 300-pound offensive lineman was CCU's first football All-American. Trice anchored a line that plowed the way for former Big South Offensive Player of the Year Patrick Hall. So what's Antoine up to now?
Pretty much I'm down at Central Florida right now. I own a home health care business and I work for the federal government as a fireman. I'm down here just enjoying this Coastal Carolina tradition. Appreciate everybody being out here. I love this place. Thank everybody who supports us, and God bless everyone.
Where Are They Now is presented by Waste Management, a proud sponsor of The David Bennett Show.
The David Bennett Show is brought to you by Waste Management, Coastal Orthopedic and Strand Orthopedic, Coca-Cola, Crescent Bank, and HTC, title sponsor of the David Bennett Show for the past 8 years.
All right, guys, it's crunch time. The game's on the line. You played great so far, but you got to finish the job. You got to finish the job. You're the team everybody wants to be. Come on, guys. Let's go show them why we're the champs.
Right now, get the longest lasting, most versatile, and most fuel-efficient lineup in America at Palmetto Chevrolet. No one has more Consumer Digest Best Buys for the 2010 model year than Chevrolet. Coastal Carolina Chanticleers and Palmetto Chevrolet. A winning combination.
And nobody beats a Palmetto deal.
In life, there is a common thread that binds us. It's not always something we can see, or hear, or touch. The connection that brings us together as people. People who feel that technology adds up to more than just wires and plastic. But the thread that binds us together in the most important facet of our lives, connecting with it. HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
Welcome back to the David Bennett Show. It's time to hear from Coach Bennett's staff and their thoughts on Saturday's game. This week's coordinator comments are being brought to you by Coca-Cola.
Especially with us, we'd like to be a throwing team, and that kind of hampered us a lot. Had a good first drive with 60-something yards, and I think we gained about 10 yards the rest of the day. So we got to go back to the drawing board and go back to work on Monday.
True gut check for our whole team right now, for everybody just to dig deep in and try to do a great job of finishing up our season. Just a disappointing effort on our part defensively, and we're going to have to get better.
Our coordinators, I know, just like myself, we're not very pleased at all. And Coach Drayton wasn't able to come with us because of the patella tendon surgery. So it's back to the old drawing board this week, and we've got a lot of things to take care of.
Taking a look at the stats, Coach. Tough to look here as Stony Brook had 446 yards of net rushing.
Yeah, to our about 100, we a little over 100 yards here. So that's it started pouring there towards the end. They started just gashing us, Rich, and again, we've got a lot of work to do, buddy.
And you also mentioned the special teams. They really were able to capitalize and had a decisive advantage in that department as well.
Yep, the momentum turned, and it turned fast. And 5 times we had miscues on special teams. They scored 35 of those 42 points off of those special teams miscues.
Taking a look at the individual numbers right here, you got a group of young men right now that are certainly licking their wounds, Coach.
They're hurting a little bit, Rich, and again, this week will be very big for us. And it starts on Monday morning, and getting ready for a Presbyterian team that took Liberty to overtime.
We talked to some of the Chanticleers after a tough defeat. What was it like to play in those kind of conditions, and have you ever played in those kind of conditions before?
Oh, first off, no, we haven't played in something like that. And secondly, like you try to tune all that out, like the weather, anything like that, the rain. We're just trying to play football, Obviously it has an effect, but it just was blistering cold. Everything the Weather Channel said about it, that's what it felt like.
How tough is this for you guys to not only lose, but it really got out of hand there in the second half, and this team's pride probably right now is pretty wounded.
Yeah, we're pretty wounded, but the good thing is we have another week. We have another week to get better, at home. So, all we can do is work and every day this week and work on the mistakes we had tonight, and just get better.
How much was the score? 42? Yeah, at halftime it was 14-0, wasn't it? Yeah, we gave up way too many yards running. That's all they did was run the ball. We come out there and stop the run. We'll get the victory, but we had bad tackling. We wasn't holding our gaps. Everything was just going wrong for the defense and the offense. They were trying, they were working hard, but they weren't getting any yards or anything. So I kind of screwed us over too, field position wise. So you need to come back next week. Stay focused, stay hungry, stay humble, to be disciplined, and all that will work out. In the end, it will all work out for itself.
Travis, you were able to run that ball effectively in the first drive. What happened after that?
I just think we came out. We didn't execute plays well like we was planning to do all week. The first drive we came out, we ran some couple good plays, and it worked very well for us. Our plan was to come back and do the same thing again, but unfortunately it wasn't able to work.
How frustrating is it for you guys right now? 3-game losing streak, 2 big losses to Liberty and now Stony Brook.
We're just having a downfall right now. We just not being disciplined, as Coach Bennett says. We right now just we're just not getting things together right now. I mean, we do some good things, but we do a lot of bad things as well, and that's what's starting to hurt us. Got a lot of injured guys, but at this time, we just got to keep it moving.
Do you think you can turn around?
Of course, we can turn it around anytime, but we just can't wait to the last minute. If we're gonna do it, we got to go to start now.
Time now for Sean's Rewind, brought to you by our friends at Waccamaw Land and Timber. Clearly just one highlight in this loss to Stony Brook, and it was the opening drive as CCU covered 64 yards in 16 plays. 15 of the 16 plays were running plays. It started out with 4 consecutive runs by Travis Small, which covered 21 yards. And then it turned over to Marcus Whitener, who put together 3 solid runs that got Coastal into the red zone. After 3 more Travis Small runs, the drive would end with a Grant Clayton missed field goal. The Coastal Ice cool play of the game goes on the defensive side of the ball, and a big hit here by senior linebacker Derek Frazier. Frazier, the senior from Orangeburg, South Carolina, had 4 tackles, including 1.5 tackles for loss in the defeat. And coming up next week, Coach Bennett goes back to the Crescent Bank chalkboard where he'll draw up a play from Coastal Carolina's game against Presbyterian. A special thanks to Crescent Bank, who's been a sponsor of the David Bennett Show since the very beginning. Crescent Bank, have a nice bank. Our HCC peak performer from the Stony Brook game, Chris Thomas, 8 tackles, including 2.5 for a loss, Coach.
Yeah, CT played hard. I know his mom's from here. He's from right here at Long Island, and she got to watch him play. I think he did some good things, just we should have done better as a team, Rich.
Time now for our injury report, brought to you by our friends at Conway Medical Center. Coach Brian Brooks had to leave the game with back spasms, and Matt Hazel's been fighting nicks and bruises now for the past few weeks.
Yep, hamstring with Matt, and again, we still got Duran out. We've got Childers out, and we've got Marcus Lott, the quarterback of our defense, out. So, again, we've got to find a way to get it done, Rich.
Time for us to step away. When we come back, time for Sean's Corner. We'll spend some time with Nicolo Mastromateo. That's when the David Bennett Show continues right after this. Logan's Roadhouse in Myrtle Beach is the home for Coach Bennett's weekly call-in radio show. For the second straight year, Logan's has used the month of October to raise money for breast cancer awareness. Every Logan's in the Carolinas and parts of Georgia have been selling pink T-shirts and hats, with the proceeds going to the American Cancer Society. The Coastal football team wore pink during its win against VMI to help support the cause, as Logan's is on the verge of reaching an impressive goal.
Right now, we feel like we're going to meet our goal of 200,000, and we sold over 33,000 shirts and hats. So obviously, really excited about that. The program's going well. You know, due to a lot of people that have really been involved. All 18 stores have done well. Myrtle Beach has done great. A lot of support from you guys as well as Coastal.
Coastal fans were invited to come to Logan's in Myrtle Beach every Thursday, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. for Coach Bennett's call-in show with Matt Hogue. And there's still time to buy a Logan's pink shirt. You can make your order online. Just visit buypinkshirts.com. The David Bennett Show congratulates Chuck McWhorter and Logan's for all they do in the community and the great work they did during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The David Bennett Show is brought to you by People's Underwriters, with 2 locations in Conway and Carolina Forest. Visit peoplesunderwriters.com.
We're proud to have Coastal Ice as part of our team this year, providing ice to the PD and all over the Grand Strand.
We're proud to bring you the Coastal Ice cool play of the game. And when you think of ice, think of Coastal Ice and call 488-4ICE.
Everyone at Coastal Ice wants to wish the Chanticleers the best of luck.
Coastal Ice says,
Go Shots!
Locals love Creek Rats for dinner. They rave about the seafood dinner special, baskets, po' boys, wraps, and burgers. But when you experience those incredible waterfront views, you get that relaxed Creek Rats attitude on the Marsh Walk in Merle's Inlet and on Celebration Lake in Florence.
My HTC digital cable service delivers all my favorite shows, movies, and sports entertainment. We always crack up watching comedies on video on demand and raise the roof cheering for our favorite sports teams in high def. HTC offers all the channels and features I love and connects me with the ones who mean the most.
NFL Network and NFL Red Zone provide the most extensive weekly coverage and put you in the action with every touchdown. Now available on HTC digital cable.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
Welcome back to the David Bennett Show. It's time now for Sean's Corner, brought to you by HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
Welcome to Sean's Corner in the Brown locker room at Atkins Field House with a lot of people's favorite player from Boston, Mass., Nicolo Mastromateo. Nicolo, we got a couple of questions for you. The first thing is, growing up, who was the biggest influence on your life?
Well, I gotta say I've had a lot of influences, probably everybody I've met, friends, uncles, aunts, but it's definitely my parents. Classic case of opposites attract. I try to take the best I can from my dad and the best from my mom. And,
how many brothers and sisters you got so the people know?
8 younger brothers and sisters.
8 younger brothers and sisters.
Yes, sir.
Since you've been at Coastal, what's your best Coastal Carolina memory?
This might come as a surprise, but after practice, if everybody doesn't know, we get together and we all have a prayer, and someone leads a prayer. And one of the funniest guys in the team gets up. This is one of the first weeks at Coastal. I'm from the north. I'm not used to it down here, and stands up and goes, "Sup, God?" Remember who that was?
Who was it?
It was Q.
Who?
Q.
Quentin Davis.
Besides the winning the games, Liberty, of course, all that stuff. But I like the funny stuff, too.
That's a great memory. If you had a redo in life, you could redo something, what would it be?
I can't think of anything in particular. Just like everybody else has said, all the mistakes and all that stuff make you who you are. But, one thing, I blew out my knee a couple years ago, and I didn't run out of bounds full speed, and I could have tried to stay in bounds, but for some reason I went out half speed. And
might want to sped up.
Yeah, so I guess just from that I can learn do everything. 100%.
It's one of the things I love about you and we do as a coaching staff. You don't practice half tail. You go pretty hard, Nicolo.
I try to. Don't always do it, but I try to.
Learn from that mistake, I guess. When you hear the phrase game day, what do you think of?
It's just special because, during the week you're practicing up and, you're waiting for the game to come, and it's all anticipation and preparation for the game. But once you get there, it's different than you expected. It's just an exciting feeling, really.
Last thing, pick one of the coaches on our staff and imitate that coach.
Well, I'll spare you. I won't do you. But Coach Hammer, he's always walking around. He's got that look on his face like he knows something you don't. You know what I'm talking about? When he looks over your shoulder and gives he does that, and then he usually looks away and looks back at me and gives you play football? And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. You do play football. We're glad you're here. And have a great year, buddy.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
The David Bennett Show is brought to you by Palmetto Chevrolet, A&I Fire and Water Restoration, Creek Rats, Conway Medical Center, Bojangles, the Britton Law Firm, and Coastal Ice.
Hello, I'm Tommy Britton. Along with my children, Case, Preston, and Mary Madison, I practice law here in Myrtle Beach. We're now known as the Britton Law Firm. We're all graduates of Wofford College, but we're great supporters of David Bennett, Coastal Carolina football, and the great university Coastal Carolina has become. It's been a pleasure over the years to sponsor this program, the Britton Law Firm, all claims, trials in all courts.
Come get that relaxed Creek Rats attitude on the Marsh Walk in Merle's Inlet and overlooking Celebration Lake on South Cashua in Florence.
With my HTC wireless phone, I'm always connected to the world around me. Whether it's simple everyday things like a call from a friend, a text from my daughter, or even an update to my Facebook status while I'm out and about, HTC connects me with the things that mean the most.
HTC is your wireless headquarters for back to school. Get 3 months of HTC residential high-speed internet free with new HTC wireless service.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
It's time for a Bojangles Blast from the Past. The date, October 30th of 2010. CCU facing Gardner-Webb in Boiling Springs, North Carolina. This one goes to overtime with Jamel Davis leading the CCU defense. Gardner-Webb had to settle for a field goal in the extra session. Then CCU quarterback Zach McDowell answered with this touchdown run from 8 yards out for a walk-off win over the Bulldogs. This 30-27 overtime victory was Coastal's 7th straight over Gardner-Webb. Blast from the Past is brought to you by your Grand Strand Bojangles, proud sponsor of The David Bennett Show.
A loss is a loss, and you just hate getting beat, especially getting shut out, Rich. And, again, I've said this is going to be a big week for us, big week for our football program this coming week against a Presbyterian team that took Liberty to overtime. So we'll find out a lot about ourselves this week.
You guys look real warm there in the studio. Hope you're having a good time. It's time for me to get out of the cold. Let's send it back to Mark Haggard in the studio.
I'm toasty.
Yeah, feeling good here.
Yeah, fine.
He looked a little cold out there.
Yeah, he's a tough customer.
Time now for HCC Scouting Report. Coach, Presbyterian coming to Brooks Stadium in Benton Field. Final home game for Coastal, but now the big headline, Presbyterian taking Liberty to overtime. So they've gotten right in a hurry, haven't they?
That wasn't at Presbyterian. That was at Liberty. Wow. So they did a great job. I think they came back and almost beat Walford earlier in the year. They played a lot of young guys last year. It's paying off for them this year. We hope everybody will come out and support our Chanticleers. We need you.
Coach, certainly a big challenge here for these last 3 games. A lot to play for. A lot of people probably down in the dumps about 4-4, but there's so much more here on the horizon.
There is, and we got to take it one day at a time, one play at a time, one game at a time.
Coach, tough trip. Hope you get back safe, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. You too, Rich.
All right, for Coach Dave Bennett, I'm Rich Krampanis. We're going to thaw out here and get ready to get back to South Carolina. We'll be back next week for all the highlights of Presbyterian and the Chanticleers.
In life, there is a common thread that binds us. It's not always something we can see, or hear, or touch. The connection that brings us together as people. People who feel that technology adds up to more than just wires and plastic. But the thread that binds us together in the most important facet of our lives, connecting with it. HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
A&I over the years we've had working relationships. They've handled fires, water losses, wind losses. They've been there for us so that we could be there for our clients. Their professionalism, their follow-up, it has been absolutely flawless. If everybody did the work as they promised to do, like A&I does, we'd be in real good shape in this town.
When disaster strikes, we're the ones to call. A&I does it all.
Locals love Greek Rats for lunch. They say it's the fresh salads, fantastic wraps, and seafood baskets. But when you experience those incredible waterfront views, you get that relaxed Greek Rats attitude on the Marsh Walk in Merle's Inlet and on Celebration Lake in Florence.
Coastal Carolina University Chanticleers need to concentrate on playing their best, not worrying about what to do if an injury occurs. As Strand Orthopedic Consultants and Coastal Orthopedic Associates, we offer all our patients comprehensive orthopedic care from our team of renowned specialists. So no matter what your game, you can stay on top of it. Strand Orthopedic Consultants and Coastal Orthopedic Associates, proud to be the team physicians of the Coastal Carolina University Chanticleers and sponsors of the Dave Bennett Coaches Show.
Today, you can find healthcare information almost everywhere. What you can't find is a single reliable source to guide you through your options when you or your family needs medical treatment. That's why News Channel 15 has partnered with Conway Medical Center to produce a new one-of-a-kind resource, Your Health, Your Decision. It will help you understand your treatment options when you or someone you love needs care. Stay tuned for more information on Your Health, Your Decision on News Channel 15 and CarolinaLive.com.